Hi everyone. Wanted to talk, excuse me, wanted to talk a little bit today about what it is that I do and why you should hire me. And believe me, you should hire me. I do bookkeeping and accounting work. What I really do is I take all of your financial data and I put it into financial accounting software. Um, I then generate the reports that you need that are going to make sense to you. The reason I put it that way is that a lot of clients have come to me and they basically have an April Fool's box. That's what I used to call it. When I very first started doing bookkeeping as a profession, as full time, I would get these banker's boxes full of stuff, thermal paper receipts, every single statement from every single vendor they'd ever had all year long, whether they'd been paid or not, whether they were duplicates or not. And they would say, can you have this organized by April 15th? And they would bring it to me on April 1st, which is why I call it the April Fool's box. I need this done by April 15th, April Fool. So for 2 years, I would actually do it. I didn't have a lot of clients at the time, so I would actually do it, and I wouldn't sleep for 2 weeks because I had people that were, I'm one of those people that if I tell you I'm going to do something, it gets done without question. So I would go without sleep for days trying to get all of this stuff organized. Now, I don't recommend that. There's a few things that I don't recommend. I don't recommend waiting till the end of the year to get your books organized. I think that needs to be done weekly. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. I also don't recommend doing your own bookkeeping yourself. Maybe even especially if you are an accountant yourself. And I'm going to explain that in a minute too. In fact, I'm going to explain the second one first. The first reason I don't think you should do your books yourself, even if you're an accountant, even if you have a string of letters behind your name, MBA, CPA, I don't think you should do your own books if you're serious about your business. The reason is twofold. One is you are going to make more money outsourcing your books, allowing someone else to look at them, and they can get that done in less time, even if you are yourself a CPA. As a bookkeeper, this is going to sound weird, but I've had to fix CPA's books because they were trained to, CPAs are trained to look at the top down. That's what they were doing. And I came in and went, you're supposed to be smarter than me. What did you do? They tend to get over detailed, which is fine. I'm not trying to be critical, but even if you're a CPA, you probably make about $150 to $300 an hour. So do you want to spend that hour doing your books for which you are not getting paid? Or do you want to spend that hour working on a client's books or doing paid work for which you're getting paid a lot? Whereas I'm not making that much per hour, and even if I am, you can make that money back. And you're going to have to contact me directly to find out what I actually do charge. It's very reasonable. I charge a very reasonable rate. Not only should you not do your own books, you should not allow your spouse to do your books. Not your spouse, not your significant other, not your best friend, not your first cousin's once removed ex-sister-in-law's best friend from high school's third cousin. You should allow a professional, someone that's been doing this for a while, to do your books for the same reasons. If you're allowing your spouse to do your books, can I just tell you how many times I've actually had to do marriage counseling while I was talking to a client, a married couple? Because the wife wants to feel significant and important and special and in the business. And the husband wants to know where he's at. And the wife has been doing the books. It's usually the wife doing the books and the husband owning the business. Sometimes it can be the other way around. So don't freak out that I'm stereotyping. I'm just saying what I've seen. And the wife, you know, she's been home with the kids. She's been out of the workforce for a while. She wants to feel important, and doing the books makes her feel important. So I don't recommend that you have your spouse, and I have seen it the other way around. I have seen it where the husband owned a business and the wife owned a business, and the husband was trying to figure out what the wife was doing, and she was on top of it and didn't want him to know because she was starting to look for a way out. So you don't ever want your spouse to do your books. You can invite them in to talk about the finished product, but if you bring your spouse in, there comes control issues. There becomes again, where the wife may not even know how to do books, but she's been doing them and she's got them messed up, but she doesn't want to let them go because she feels important. Now, myself, I'm going to try to help her feel important as she's working with me while gently taking some of that control away from her. But the fact is, usually in that particular case, I almost have to start over because if if the business owner does not know what's going on in his business, and he has to know what's going on in his business if he wants to grow it, but he's trying to let his wife feel important, it's just kind of a recipe for disaster from a business standpoint. I don't even know what was going on in the marriage. That's why I say never, ever, ever. Don't let your friends do your books. Unless they are bookkeepers, hire someone, pay them well. They will take care of you. I'm going to do another video about what to do if you end up with a lousy bookkeeper, but I haven't seen it happen very often, except in this particular instance. You don't want your spouse to do your books. You don't want to do your books yourself. You actually do, believe it or not, want to hire an outside company to do them. Why an outside company? Why don't you just hire someone in-house? Well, I don't have access to your money. I can look at it. I will tell you I need view access to your bank accounts and your credit cards. View access. That means I cannot move your money with my logins. That's the access that I want. I want to be able to see what checks you wrote. I want to see your statements. I want to see the transactions that come in. I have to do that. That's my job. But I don't want your checks. I don't want to sign your checks. I'm going to back up. I do print checks for clients. I don't want to sign them. I don't want a credit card to their account. I don't have access to your money. And that means that your funds are safe with me because I can't do anything with them anyway. And that means that I'm going to just take the information that you give me, and it does have to be documented with a receipt or a statement, not just your word against mine. It has to be documented. There's a reason I'm saying that. I want that documentation. I want to put your information into a financial software. The reason I don't want any access to your actual funds is that I want you to have peace of mind that there's nothing I can do. And I want to be able to report to you, this is the money that went in, this is the money that went out. This is what you spent on balance sheet items. And if you watch my video about balance sheets, you'll be able to see what those are. These are the funds that went out for expenses. This is what your overhead is. This is what your cost of goods sold, or COGS, is. And this is what it costs you to be able to produce your work. So I have no emotion on your money. None. I have plenty of emotion on my money, but that's my money. That's my money that I worked for. It's my money that I'm spending. It's my stuff that I want to have, that I have some emotion on. But as far as my clients' funds, I have about as much emotion on that as I do doing calculus problems out of my textbook, which I do sometimes for fun. I don't have a dog in that fight, as they say in the South. I don't have any reason to care other than I want to see you succeed in your business. That's why I recommend a third party. As a third party, I'm not part of your business. What you pay your other employees doesn't matter to me. It doesn't affect me. I get paid a certain amount per service at a price that I choose. So it doesn't bother me, as opposed to having an employee do your books and your payroll and saying, oh, he's getting paid more than I did, and he's got a similar job. You see what I'm saying? Now, I said you don't ever want to do your books yourself. I also said you don't ever want to wait till the end of the year to do your books. I do books every week. That's the way my business is set up. That's the way I have done books for years. Why do I do them every week? Why not just wait till the end of the month or the end of the year? Well, if I do them every week, I very quickly can figure out how much time it takes. Now, there's an old question that my mentor has asked me many times, and that question is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so in 52 weekly bites, I can do a reasonable, manageable amount of work that I know how long it takes to do a certain client. I know how many minutes I'm going to spend on it or how many hours. And so I know what to charge them every week. I can take this manageable amount of work and I can do that. And then I don't have to worry about it anymore. And then 4 to 12 times a year, I talk to my client and make sure that what I've already done is correct. That the books are right, that the expenses are correct, that I've gotten everything in. I do this by reconciling the accounts, making sure that everything that's in the bank is showing in the software. Anything that's showing in the software has gone through the bank, which is what reconciliation is. It's when you lock two accounts into a room and make them talk to each other. You get them to talk to each other. If I do this in small chunks, then I know that my average client takes me this certain amount of time a week. And I also know that the first of the month, it's going to take a little bit longer because I have a little bit more documentation coming in. And I can give you your reports and your information in a usable format all the time. I can even provide almost real-time bookkeeping, which is awesome. It's awesome for you as the business owner because now you always know what's going on in your business. Also, if I'm working in very small chunks, then I have time to do things like analyze your reports and see what your profit margins really are. I can sit down with you and talk to you about, if you sell water treatment systems, how much does it cost you to buy the system? How much are you getting on the system? How much does it cost you to install the system? And then this is what it costs you to actually sell your units plus your overhead, so that you know what to charge. I mean, if you don't know what it even costs you, how do you know what to charge? I can actually talk to you about some selling tactics because I'm a really weird bookkeeper and I like talking to people. I can talk to you about, speaking as the customer, if you own an auto repair shop, if I'm your customer, let me explain to you what my experience would be. And I don't have any equity in your business. I don't have any real reason to do that other than caring that my customers win. So those are the two reasons. If you Get your books done by a friend or family member, especially if it's your significant other. You're begging for trouble. Even if they're really good at what they do, there's going to be a control issue and a power struggle, and it's going to, actually, we've seen it cause so many problems in marriages. And if you wait till the end of the year, you have this huge, overwhelming amount of bookkeeping to do. But if you let me do it, and I do it in small chunks, then your books are always up to date. And isn't it so much easier for me to call and say, I have a question about check number 123 written out to John Smith. Who's John Smith? What does he do? And then it's really easy for you to go, oh, yeah, I paid him to mow my lawn. Instead of going, oh, let's see, that was 15 months ago. Let me get back to you on that. You see the difference? So that's what I do. I take your financial data, I put it into accounting software, and then I help you create, I do create the reports. I send those to you every week at a minimum, and I even analyze your reports and talk to you between weekly and weekly. I don't ever meet with a client weekly. Monthly and quarterly, I will meet with you either face-to-face or on Skype or in a video conference and talk to you about your books and just make sure that everything is up to date, it's correct, everything is right, and that you understand the services that you're receiving. So that's what we do. If you have any questions or concerns or feedback, please comment below. Please also understand that, as I'm giving these examples, I'm not calling anybody out. I just am aware of some of these things, these situations that have come up. So comment below, give me some feedback. Love to hear from you, and I will talk to you again soon.